Hello and welcome to season two, episode 23 of Aunt Lainey's Kitchen. I am your host, Aunt Lainey. I have a very brief show for you today. Technically, I was here with you earlier this week, but I thought, you know what? I did not really go into depth about 4th of July cooking, all that stuff. And so I thought, you know what? Just like some gentle reminders. I noticed probably like a year or so ago that food prices started going up. And so I was like, okay, I'll adjust, accordingly. But now this year, the prices have gone way up, and so I know a lot of people have basically said, hey, we're not going to be able to do anything. Usually, we have a big get together. It's just too expensive to do that. And some other people are like, well, it's still kind of in our budget, but we kind of want to, keep the same amount of people, but we got to figure out how we can economize for that. And again, obviously, potlucks, very easy to do, but everyone's on a different price point. And so if you're that house that generally, provides like the meat, you're like, hey, we're the meat, you guys bring everything else. It can kind of look a little scary to try to do that. So here's some things that I am kind of looking at myself. So going smaller, that's number one. Maybe go smaller. If you want to keep including people, since it's a rough time right now, a lot of people are feeling kind of isolated, all that stuff. So you don't want to cut your guest list. I totally understand that. But maybe you go smaller as far as like the cuts of meat. So maybe instead of doing, you do those beautiful big briskets, maybe instead of doing that, you do something more like sliders. Get some sliders together. Maybe they're turkey sliders, like grilled turkey, or some other kind of like I'm sorry, not grilled turkey, ground turkey, instead of ground beef, because ground beef has skyrocketed. So maybe you're doing ground pork or ground turkey or ground chicken, something like that. So there's that. Go smaller. So again, make like a slider situation. Maybe you're going to do more hot dogs this year than ever, because usually, in my experience, when we were growing up, hot dogs mainly were for like the kids. Like they would put like, you get like a little piece of a rib because a lot of kids, you chew on a couple things, you're done. But like a kid will generally eat all of a hot dog. So maybe what you have to do is get some more hot dogs there. I know that I noticed that brats have really skyrocketed. So maybe, but I know that there's some places where you can still kind of get chicken sausage. So maybe you look into doing chicken sausage and hot dogs instead of doing like all the brats that you were doing before. Another solution is if you're like, man, I really want to do the brats. Maybe instead of doing like brats and like in hot dog buns, maybe what you do is you take those brats, you cut them in half, and so instead of like, putting them in like a bun or something like that, you just kind of serve them like free, like free range where people kind of slice them. Or what you could do is you could cut the hot dog buns in half. You could do that as well. Like you could just kind of do half portions of the brats and kind of give people like a sampling of the brats. Something else too, like with the drinks. Obviously, like I like to bring water to events, or I'll bring, some kind of sparkling water or regular like bottled water. Something else. I know that the branded soft drinks are very expensive right now, and they might not be in everybody's budget. So what I've started doing, when people are like, hey, can you just bring like a simple soda or whatever? I'm bringing the off-brand lemon lime because first of all, with lemon lime, it's so versatile. So if there are people that are drinking alcohol, you can kind of use it as like a mixed as part of a mixed drink. You can do that as well. Same with the off-brand colas. Like I've been doing that. Not so much with the cola because the people where I hang out, they don't really drink a lot of colas, but they will drink that lemon lime, off-brand lemon lime. And I know in 2026, you're like, girl, it's come to this. We've got to use off-brand things. Yes, it has come to this. It's okay. There's no shame in it. Now, listen, if you get a really good deal on something branded, go for it. But if it's not in your budget, don't kill your budget trying to like keep up, with the Joneses or trying to keep this certain facade, okay? Because a lot of people are hurting right now because the groceries are taking over like the fun things. I know someone was talking about they used to be able to go to a couple movies a month with their kids, like their whole family, whatever. And now because of food, they're limiting things to like one movie a month, going out to see the movie. So again, it's hitting us all in different spaces. Now you're thinking, what about a side? What do I do for a side, Aunt Lainey? Well, there's lots of things you can do. You could get corn on the cob. You could do that, or you could just like have the sides, be something you cook inside. You could do some corn's pretty easy. I wouldn't say green beans because green beans don't have the same kind of like, 4th of July feel. But again, if that's all you have the budget for, you do those green beans, baby. But I like to do like corn for my side. Also, there's no shame in maybe doing like a little veggie platter for the veggies, like, slicing up some carrots, some celery. That could also be kind of part of the veggie sides if you wanted to do that. Um, I know a lot of people like to have some potatoes out there. I have done tater tots, right? And then I've also done potato coins, where there are potatoes that, again, I got up really, really early in the morning. I took like, depending on how many people were there, I took maybe like five big potatoes and I like sliced them. I put them on a couple of trays, seasoned them up and whatever. And that's kind of what I brought over. I heated them up, before, like when everything was ready, I would heat them up and all that stuff in the microwave and then, serve it that way. So you've got your potato, but it's not like this huge baked potato because it's kind of hot for that. It's like a potato coin instead. Or again, tater tots are also like a really easy thing to do. And don't sleep on potato chips too, as well. Like sometimes people don't want to eat potatoes because it's like, it's just too hot to eat them. Get some potato chips and keep it moving down the dusty trail. Now, another thing to really keep in mind is what you're going to serve everything on. Now, I know paper plates, it's like, oh, well, I'm just going to do paper plates, and that's fine. But not all paper plates are created equal. So make sure your paper plates actually have, uh, you know, some heft to them. And also, I know when I was growing up, we used to have those little baskets that you put your plate on, generally paper plates, and that's kind of what you would use. Like, it kind of held the plate together. So you'd have like your paper plate, then a basket to put it in, like a plate basket, something like that. And you could kind of like hold on to that, like it was kind of usually made of wicker. And that's again something else to think about. When I'm thinking about cups, I'm generally using the plastic cups, but you could tell people, hey, everyone bring your own cup if you wanted to kind of do something like that. Like, hey, bring your own cup. But and again, you might have to limit it because sometimes people will show up with steins, huge like travel mugs, and they're taking up all the stuff, filling their thing up. So again, just be sensible about everything. And if you're a person with that huge travel mug, be mindful that there are other people at that party. It's so crazy that I would even have to say that, but yet I find myself feeling like I have to say that. Okay, now what about desserts? What are we doing with desserts? So many different possibilities. If it were 1985, you would probably get some chilled gelatin that had like some grapes in it or something like that. But I would say if it's on sale, get some fruit. If it's on sale, I know fruit's been going up crazy, but you look around and see if you can find some deals on fruit. Slice up some fruit, do that. If you can get deals on berries, I found some berries at my local store, local grocery store for like 2.99, uh, like a packet. I was like, oh my gosh, and they're in pretty good condition. So again, you still might be able to find some deals on berries and all of that stuff, and just be mindful of like if you want, what I would do probably is have like some ramekins. So when you're serving the berries, having like in a small little ramekin, that way you can kind of keep track of how many berries are being eaten versus just like letting people get their own because again, you'll run out a lot faster. So just kind of have those the like a small ramekin um like ready to put some of the fruit in. That's what I would kind of do. Now listen, if you're really fancy, you can like do fruit and berries. I'm sorry, not fruit and berries. Well, fruit and berries, so you can mix it up, add some berries with some other fruit things, but also whipped cream. You can do like a little dollop of whipped cream, put that down, throw some berries in it, and it's chilled and it's good. Also some chilled flavored gelatin, some cherry gelatin was always a favorite. Like that chilled cherry gelatin for dessert. Oh my gosh, amazing. So that's something else you can do. And you don't have to make it. You could go to the Dollar Tree and get a few packets of it and kind of like put it in a bowl and then again have those ramekins. Because what happens is that people are pretty full from eating all the meat and all that other stuff in the side. So dessert is really an afterthought. So, again, something if it's hot outside, especially something chilled like gelatin, berries. Also, something to think about is maybe it's just as simple as getting some cookies. Getting like a big kind of assorted thing of cookies. I know those have kind of gone up as well, but you don't have to be fancy when it comes to cookies. You could also, if you really wanted to be 1985 grandma, you could also bring cookies, but then also have some graham crackers as well to use, like, not the huge graham crackers, but like break them and put some gloves on, like, some serving gloves, break them and then kind of serve those, like stack those up and serve those as well, kind of as overflow for the cookies or whatever other dessert. Graham crackers are, that's a really go-to kind of thing, and it goes with most things. So yes, so that's kind of like what I have going on. Just stay in your budget as much as you can. That's like my Aunt Lainey advice to you. Stay in your budget and be realistic about what you can do. Because maybe it is that this year you're not going to be able to do the same kind of Fourth of July thing. Like last year, I went to a huge potluck. It was amazing. It was so much fun, and all that stuff. And this year it's a little bit different. Something else is that maybe instead of focusing on having the big party, before the fireworks, maybe what you do is you have a Fourth of July breakfast when it's still kind of cool outside, and you can get a lot of like pancakes or waffles together, get some eggs going, some sausages, something like that. Because breakfast food can kind of be a little cheaper if you do it right. And a lot of people aren't filling up in the same way as they do like at night. So again, something to keep in mind. Maybe what you do is you do like a brunch like at 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m. and have some of the breakfast stuff, and then also offer maybe some grilled hot dogs, or like hot dogs, something like that. Okay, so just like mix it up, maybe make it from like 10:30 to 2 p 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m., or even like a lunch. Do like 11 a.m. to like 2 p.m. Something like that, and people can kind of like come in, between the hours of 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. People kind of come in, eat, talk, and leave. Again, it doesn't have to look like that Pinterest perfect social media moment. It can be something so simple. And if I make it even more simple, because I do this with every holiday. Like I'm always like, if you really want to simplify it because you just want to get over, you could do like a coffee and Danish kind of thing, or coffee and like a breakfast sandwich, something like that. Just have people over, people coming in, people coming out and hanging out and all of that stuff. And make it easier on yourself. If you are the people that generally host the huge thing and you're like, hey, I'm just not into doing the big thing in the same way, you can always downsize that thing. There is no shame in kind of downsizing a little bit and turning it more into like a breakfast or a lunch, or like a quick kind of, or even if you're like, hey, come for the fireworks, like get over here and it depends on what everyone's doing their fireworks. But I find that if I'm going for a firework display, I'm going to someone's house because they have, a good view of it. A lot of times there's a lot of other people doing that too. So I want to probably get there by like 6 or 7 at the latest, depending. Obviously, you want to see what time they say to come over, but like, 6 or 7 so I can get my parking spot or whatever, get my Uber ride share taken care of, and then hang out for a little bit. And then, probably like within like 30 minutes of the fireworks being over, then I'm getting back into my ride share and I'm throwing up the do signs and leaving. But again, something to keep in mind. We can have these different kinds of celebrations. I know a lot of places where I'm at, they're starting kind of the celebrations on Friday. Um, well, some places are Thursday, like Friday. And they're doing things early in the morning, like they're having a parade in Liberty. I think there's a parade in Lenexa, Kansas as well. I believe on July 4th. I could be wrong. Maybe it's the 3rd. I could be wrong because things keep changing around. And so, again, it's so easy just to kind of look things up online. You don't have to rely on the newspaper, which might be out of date by the time you read it, or word of mouth or anything like that. You can kind of get, your news pretty quickly. And again, same with menus. Keep everything simple, and you'll have a really stress-free July 4th if you are the person that has to host. Okay. Thank you so much for joining in on this very short show. And please take care. And you can find me at auntlaneyskitchen.com, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. I am here. And thanks again for the support. I'm really seeing a lot of your support in my numbers kind of going up with the podcast. So, yes, thank you so much. Take care, and I will talk to you soon. Happy 4th of July, everyone.